Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Myself, Dr. Dharmendra Mistry. I am working as principal at CC Sheth College of Commerce, Ahmedabad. Today's our topic of discussion is break-even analysis. Cost volume profit analysis is based on the concept of marginal costing. An appropriate and adequate understanding of marginal costing always helps to understand CVP analysis. CVP means cost, volume and profit. Cost means cost of sales, volume means sales, and the difference between sales and cost of sales is nothing but either our profit or loss, and that's why this is known as CVP analysis. Many managerial decisions are taken under CVP analysis. The following components can be useful to take managerial decisions: break-even analysis, profit volume ratio, margin of safety, angle of incidence, and key factor. Our today's module is prepared to study break-even analysis. So today we are going to discuss about break-even analysis. There can be two situations for any business entity from the viewpoint of profitability. There can be either profit or there can be a loss. Generation of profit means sales less cost of sales. In short, when sales is more than cost of sales, then the difference is considered to be profit. The other situation can be occurrence of loss, means cost of sales less sales. In short, when cost of sales is more than sales, then there will be a loss. But what if when sales and cost of sales are equal? What does it indicate? So this indicates that there is no profit, there is no loss. So when sales and cost of sales are identical, the level of that sales is known as break-even point. So we can say that sales level before break-even point shows status of loss, and sales level after break-even point shows status of gain. In brief, break-even point is such level of sales where cost of sales is equal to sales. At this level of sales, there is neither profit nor loss. We can understand this with the help of this slide, that sales at break-even point is in the center. On left hand side we are having sales before break-even point, on right hand side we are having sales after break-even point. If sales before break-even point is there will be obviously loss, and if sales after break-even point, that indicates profit situation. And sales at break-even point makes us clear about the situation where there is no profit, no loss. For the computation purpose, we are taking two components, sales and cost of sales. Difference between sales and cost of sales in the first situation gives us negative difference. That negative difference is nothing but our loss. If I take right hand side, then the difference between sales and cost of sales shows positive difference, and that shows the profitability situation. But in the middle, we are having sales and less cost of sales, and the difference is zero, means no profit, no loss. So the situation in the center suggests that the break-even point is the situation, is the level of sales where there is no profit or no loss. So we can sum up that break-even point is nothing but the situation where sales and cost of sales are identical, where there is neither profit nor loss. Now we discuss about computation of break-even point, because calculation of break-even point has many uses. Now to determine break-even point, we should have a clear understanding about different formulas, and to calculate this formula we are having income statement. So we need to understand how the income statement is prepared. So our next point of discussion is computation of break-even point with the help of income statement. Income statement has mainly three elements: sales, cost, and the difference is either profit or loss. As we have seen earlier, here for the purpose of income statement, the cost of sales is divided into two parts: variable cost and fixed cost. So first, from sales we deduct variable cost and the difference is known as contribution, and from contribution we deduct fixed cost and the difference is considered to be profit or loss. So in short, here total cost of sales is divided into two costs: variable cost and fixed cost. Now the new word comes, that is contribution. So from income statement, contribution is nothing but difference between sales and variable cost. So from sales, if we deduct variable cost, we get contribution. Contribution is nothing but the surplus of sales and variable cost, as we discussed earlier. In other words, it is nothing but fixed cost and profit, means it's a total of both fixed cost and profit is nothing but contribution. So contribution can also be known as total of fixed cost and profit. Contribution is also known as difference between sales and variable cost. So in short, contribution is nothing but proportion in percentage of fixed cost and profit to sales. So this proportion in percentage is known as profit volume ratio. Let us understand this with the help of one example. Here we take sales of 10,000 units, selling price per unit is 30, variable cost per unit is 18, and our total cost of fixed nature will be of 72,000. If we multiply 10,000 units with selling price per unit of rupees 30, we get sales of rupees 3 lakhs, variable cost is 18 per unit. So multiplied by 10,000, we get 1,80,000, and difference between sales and variable cost, as you know, is contribution, that is 10,000 into 12, that is 30 minus 18. Our contribution is 12 rupees per unit, that is multiplied with 10,000 units, and we get contribution of rupees 1,20,000. And total fixed cost is assumed to be 72,000. So in present situation where there is sales of 10,000 units or sales of rupees 3 lakh, we are getting profit of rupees 48,000. Let us understand this with the help of percentage also. We take sales as 100%. That is 3 lakh is our sales and variable cost is 180. So 1,80,000 is nothing but 60% of sales. So 60% is variable cost, and difference between sales and variable cost in terms of percentage gives us a balance of 40%. So 40% is nothing but contribution. So contribution is 1,20,000 and in terms of percentage it is 40%. And if we make the total of fixed cost and profit, let us take in the form of percentage. We take sales as 100% and variable cost is based on sales, that is 60% of sales. So balance is 40% is nothing but our contribution. If we carefully examine the amount besides percentage, that contribution is 40% and amount is 1,20,000. 120 is nothing but difference between sales and variable cost, that is 3 lakh minus 180, and 120 is also total of total fixed cost and profit, that is 72,000 plus 48,000, that also comes to 1,20,000. So 40% is nothing but difference between sales minus variable cost as well as total of total fixed cost as well as profit. Now we conclude the illustration. From illustration it is revealed that there is positive relation between sales and variable cost. Means with the increase in sales, there will be increase in variable cost. When there is no sales, there will not be variable cost. So existence of variable cost will always there when there will be existence of sale. So we can say that variable cost is totally based on sales. So we are supposed to make assumptions when we go for computation of break-even point. Our computation will be based on two assumptions: that per unit variable cost is constant, it will never change. Total variable cost will change, but variable cost per unit for one unit will remain same for any situation, whether sales level is 0% or whether sales level is 100%. The other and second assumption will be there is no impact of change of production on total fixed cost. So our total fixed cost will remain same for any level of output, whether the production level is 0% or if it is 100%, our total fixed cost will remain same. So these two assumptions will be helpful to us for the calculation and presentation of break-even point. From income statement, we have come to know about many terms: sales, variable costs, contribution, fixed cost. Now this will be helpful to us in calculation of break-even point. Now let us understand how the break-even point will be calculated or presented. Break-even point can be calculated or presented in two ways: equation form, that is equation method, and graph form, that is graphical method. First method is equation method. In equation method, there are two formulas which can be used to calculate break-even point. The first formula for calculation of break-even point will be useful to us when per unit selling price and per unit variable cost are available. Through this formula, break-even point can be calculated in the form of units. In numerator, we will be having total fixed cost. In denominator, we will be having per unit selling price minus per unit variable cost. We can also represent the formula in the other way: total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. As you know, the difference of sales and variable cost is known as contribution, as we have discussed earlier. Let us take the illustration, and this illustration will be useful to us to determine break-even point in terms of units with the formula which we have discussed just now. We continue with the previous example. In previous example, we had total fixed cost of rupees 72,000. Selling price per unit was there of rupees 30 per unit. Variable cost per unit was 18. So 72,000 divided by 12 is nothing but 6,000 units. That is break-even point. We are having 6,000 units. It means that if company makes sales of 6,000 units, then there will be no profit or no loss. Let us confirm it with the help of the same information. Earlier we had selling price of rupees 30, variable cost was rupees 18 per unit, and total fixed cost was rupees 72,000. Let us confirm our answer of break-even point of 6,000 units with the help of the previous example. In previous example, we had selling price per unit of rupees 30, variable cost was rupees 18 per unit, and total fixed cost was rupees 72,000. The present sales is 10,000 units, but the break-even point is 6,000 units. And as you know, at break-even point there will be no profit or no loss. Let us have a confirmation of it. So sales we are having at break-even point of 6,000 units, so that is multiplied by rupees 30, and we are getting total sales of 1,80,000. Variable cost, as you know, it remains same for per unit. So variable cost is 6,000 units into rupees 18, we are having 1,08,000, and difference between sales and variable cost is 72,000, that is our contribution. As you know, the total fixed cost is 72,000, our difference is 0, that is no profit or no loss. So here it is confirmed that at 6,000 units, there will be no profit or no loss to the company. Now we are having the second formula for calculation of break-even point. Here we will get answer in terms of rupees. This formula will be used when per unit selling price and per unit variable cost are not available to us. So in this formula, we are having in numerator total fixed cost, in denominator we are having 1 minus variable cost divided by sales. Let us understand with the previous example. In previous example, we had total fixed cost of rupees 72,000, variable cost was rupees 1,80,000, and sales was rupees 3 lakhs. So in numerator we are having total fixed cost of rupees 72,000, and in denominator we are having 1 minus variable cost 180 divided by sales 3 lakhs. So in denominator we are having 1 minus 1,80,000 divided by 3 lakhs. So 1,80,000 divided by 3 lakhs is nothing but 0.6. So in denominator we have now 1 minus 0.6. So that is 0.4. So 72,000 in numerator divided by 0.4, we get rupees 1,80,000 as break-even point. Now, as you know, break-even point is the level where there is no profit or no loss. Means if sales level is less than break-even sales, then there will be a loss. and if sales level is more than break even sales, then there will be a profit. Suppose our break even sales, we have 6,000 units. If it is reduced by 1 unit or if it is increased by 1 unit, then what will be the impact on profit? If break even sales is reduced by 1 unit, we are having loss of rupees 12. And if there will be increase of 1 unit, that is 6,001 unit will be the sales, then there will be profit of 12 rupees. So we can say that if sales are less than break even sales, there will be a loss. If sales is more than break even sales, there will be a profit. And if break even sales we are having, then there will be no profit or no loss. So break even sales is helpful to the management to avoid loss, or in other words, it will help to the management to make efforts to maximum profit. Now let us understand break-even point presentation with the help of graphical method. We continue the previous example. In previous example, we had sales of rupees 3 lakh, variable cost of rupees 1,80,000, contribution of rupees 1,20,000, fixed cost of 72,000, and there was profit of 48,000. Now we substitute all the information in graph. On x-axis, sales is represented in terms of units, while on y-axis we are having sales in terms of rupees, total cost in terms of rupees, and fixed cost in terms of rupees. Now line A shows sales line, which is started from 0. Per unit selling price is rupees 30. So we start with the 0 sales, so it begins with the 0, and our present sales is of 10,000 units, so it is shown up to sales of rupees 3 lakhs. B line shows total fixed cost line. Total fixed cost line would commence from rupees 72,000, because irrespective of level of sales, it would remain same. Hence, the total fixed cost line is drawn parallel to x-axis. Line C is total cost line. Total cost line is nothing but total of variable cost plus fixed cost. Variable cost is 0 at 0 sales, but there will be fixed cost of rupees 72,000. So total cost line starts with rupees 72,000 and it moves upward with the increase in sales, because it's a total of fixed cost as well as variable cost. D line represents break-even point. It is that point where sales line and total cost line intersects each other. This is the break-even point of rupees 1,80,000, and in terms of units we are getting 6,000 units. So this is the point where there is no profit or no loss. E line or E part is showing profit. So that part is above break-even point, that is D. If one additional unit is sold beyond break-even point, there will be generation of profit. And lastly, we are having F part. F part shows occurrence of loss. That represents if one unit is sold less than break-even point level, there will be occurrence of loss. So F part shows the point where we are having less than break-even sales. So this was the calculation of break-even point in terms of formulas as well as with the help of graphical method. Now we discuss components of break-even point. From our previous discussions, we come to know that break-even point is based on selling price per unit, variable cost per unit, and total fixed cost. In formulas also, we have seen the use of total fixed cost, selling price per unit, and variable cost per unit. It means that break-even point has 3 components, or in other words, changes in these 3 will lead to change in break-even point. Let us understand this with the help of example. Let us first understand the impact of changes in selling price on break-even point. We continue with the previous example. In previous example, we had selling price of rupees 30. If it is reduced to 27 rupees, or if it is increased by rupees 33, what will be the impact of these changes on break-even point? Other information are assumed to be same. So now our break-even point at rupees 27 of selling price, we get rupees 8,000 units of break-even point. If it is increased to 33, then our new break-even point will be 4800 units. So it is very apparent that if selling price is reduced from 30 to 27, there will be increase in break-even point from 6,000 units to 8,000 units. And if there is increase in selling price per unit from 30 to rupees 33, there is decrease in break-even point to 4800 units. So friends, this shows there is inverse relationship between selling price per unit and break-even point. Now let us understand the second component. The second component is variable cost per unit. If there will be change in variable cost per unit, what will be the impact of this change on break-even point? Let us discuss it with the help of the previous example. Here again we assume all other informations will remain same, only there will be change in variable cost per unit. Our previous variable cost per unit was rupees 18. Now suppose if it is reduced to rupees 15 or if it is increased to rupees 21, what will be the impact on break-even point? Suppose if it is reduced to rupees 15, then there will be change in break-even point from 6,000 units to 4,800 units. If it is increased to 21, our break point will also increase from 6,000 units to 8,000. So this is very apparent that if there is decrease in variable cost per unit, there will be decrease in break-even point also from 6,000 units to 4,800 units. And if there is increase in variable cost per unit from rupees 18 to 21, there will be increase in break-even point from 6,000 units to 8,000 units. So this shows there is positive relation between variable cost per unit and break-even point. Now let us take the third component. The third component is total fixed costs. Now change in total fixed costs will also affect break-even point. We continue with the previous example. In previous example, we had total fixed cost of rupees 72,000. Now we assume 10% reduction or 10% increase in total fixed cost. If it is reduced by 10%, our total fixed cost will be 64,800. And if it is increased by 10%, now total fixed cost will be 79,200. Now we are also getting new break-even point because of this change. If total fixed cost is reduced by 10%, our new break-even point is also reduced from 6,000 units to 5,400 units. If our total fixed cost is increased by 10%, our break-even point is also increased by 600 units. So we can say that with the decrease in total fixed cost, there is a decrease in break-even point, and with the increase in total fixed cost, there is also increase in break-even point. So there is positive relationship between total fixed cost and break-even point. Now we discuss usefulness of break-even point to calculate sales to earn desired profit. Break-even point is also useful to determine the sales to make the desired profit. Every business entity wants to earn profit, and it has some specific desired profit in mind. Now on the basis of estimates for the next year, they want to earn desired profit. Break-even point formula can also be useful to determine level of sales in terms of rupees as well as in terms of units to earn that desired profit. Earlier discussed both the formulas can be useful to us to determine the level of sales for that desired profit. Let us continue with the previous question also. In previous question, we had a profit of rupees 48,000. Now company wants to double its profit. Now company wants to earn profit of rupees 96,000. At present, the sales is of 10,000 units. To increase profit, company has to increase its sales. So how many units are required to sell will be determined with the help of the formulas. Let us take the first formula. In calculation of break-even point, the formula was like this: total fixed cost divided by per unit contribution. Now we make some change in the formula. In numerator, we are adding expected profit with the total fixed cost. In denominator, no change, per unit contribution will be there. So we continue with the all other information. In previous example, we had total fixed cost of 72,000. Now company wants to increase its profit to 96,000. So in numerator we are having 1,68,000 and contribution per unit is rupees 12. So we get expected sales of 14,000 units. To have that desired profit, we can also get answer in terms of rupees. If we multiply 14,000 units by rupees 30 selling price per unit, we get rupees 4,20,000. So 4,20,000 is nothing but our expected sales to earn that desired profit of rupees 96,000. We can also use the second formula by making the same change. The second formula for finding break-even point was like this: total fixed cost divided by 1 minus V upon S. Now we make change in that formula. We are adding expected profit to the total fixed cost in numerator, and we get the new formula for finding that expected sales. We continue with all the other information, that is total fixed cost was 72,000, that variable cost was 1,80,000, sales was 3 lakh. Now what we are adding is that expected profit, that desired profit of rupees 96,000 in numerator. So we add 96,000 to the total fixed cost of rupees 72,000. So we get numerator of rupees 1,68,000. In denominator we are having 1 minus variable cost 180 divided by sales of 3 lakhs. So in denominator we are having 1 minus 0.6. Now we get denominator 0.40. So numerator of rupees 1,68,000 will be divided by 0.4 and we get expected sales of rupees 4,20,000. We can also divide it by selling price per unit, and if we divide it by selling price per unit, we get answer in terms of expected sales in units form. Let us confirm. See, at present level 10,000 unit was there. Now and at 10,000 units there was profit of rupees 48,000. Now company wants to increase its profit from 48 to 96,000, and we get the answer from 10,000 company has to increase its sales to 14,000 units. So 14,000 units multiplied by selling price of rupees 30, we get rupees 4,20,000 as total sales, less variable cost of rupees 18. For 14,000 units we have 2,52,000. Contribution we are having 168. Fixed cost is 72,000, and you can see that the difference is nothing but 96,000, and that is our desired profit. I hope from today's discussion on break-even point, your concepts regarding break-even point, its presentation in formula as well as in graphical form, impact of the components, that is selling price per unit, variable cost per unit, total fixed cost on break-even point, and usefulness of break-even point to calculate sales, that